My ex-wife told the court I abused her. My son recorded her admitting she lied. Now she wants joint custody. Hello, Reddit I plus here. Throwaway. Because I don't want this connected to my main. This happened over the span of 3 years and I'm still dealing with the aftermath. It's long, but I need to get it out. Maybe someone's been through something similar. Maybe I just need to feel like someone hears me. For background, my ex-wife, we'll call her Sarah, and I were married for 9 years. We have one son together, Caleb, who just turned 14. We split when Caleb was 11. I initiated the divorce after years of slowly realizing the person I married wasn't someone I could build a healthy life with anymore. We drifted, not just emotionally, but in values. She could be vindictive, manipulative, and when things didn't go her way, she'd blow up and make herself the victim. But we didn't end on explosive terms. I thought we'd do the typical co-parenting thing. 50-50 custody, keep things civil. I truly didn't want to go to war with her. For Caleb's sake, I was ready to be flexible and even take more responsibility if needed. Fast forward about a year after the divorce was finalized. Caleb had been splitting time between us with no real issues, but Sarah wasn't happy. She would passive-aggressively guilt him every time he came back from my place. Little comments like, "Must be nice to have a dad who buys you things just to win your love," or, "You always seem happier over there, is it because there are no rules?" That kind of emotional manipulation. I documented everything. I brought it up in our mediation meetings. She always had excuses, and nothing ever came of it. Then, out of nowhere, I was served with a restraining order. Sarah went to court and claimed I had been physically abusive toward her during our marriage. She said she feared for her life and that Caleb was unsafe in my presence. She had no police reports, no hospital visits, no text messages, nothing to back it up. But in family court, allegations like that are taken seriously, even without hard evidence. I was floored. I've never laid a hand on anyone in anger in my entire life. I don't even yell. I shut down during conflict. But that didn't matter. The court sided with her, just in case, and granted her temporary full custody while the accusations were investigated. I went from being an involved father, picking Caleb up from school, making dinner with him, going on hikes, to seeing him for 2 hours a week at a supervised visitation center. I missed his 13th birthday. I missed his first school play. I couldn't call or text without it going through her. To say it broke me is an understatement. I spiraled hard, started losing weight, stopped sleeping. My job performance tanked. I had to explain to friends and family why they weren't seeing Caleb anymore, and even though most believed me, there were some who pulled away. It's hard to defend yourself from something like that without sounding guilty, but the worst part? Caleb pulled away too. He stopped talking to me during visits. He barely made eye contact. I could tell he didn't trust me, and that killed me more than anything. I would leave those visits and cry in my car. I kept thinking, maybe she convinced him. Maybe he believes I'm some kind of monster. Turns out, he didn't. Almost a year later, I got a message out of the blue from an unknown number. No text, just a video file. I almost didn't open it thinking it was spam, but I did. And I will never forget what I saw. It was a video Caleb had secretly recorded. He had left his phone on the kitchen counter, camera facing the ceiling. The audio was clear. You could hear him confronting Sarah. He asked her, straight up, why she told the court I abused her. Her response? Because it was the only way I could make sure he didn't take you from me. He asked again, more upset this time. But you told them he hit you. I had to say something they'd believe, she said. They always side with the mother anyway. You think they'd just hand you over if I told the truth? That he's a better parent? Then the kicker. It's not like he didn't deserve it. He left me, Caleb. He broke up our family. I did what I had to do. That was it. That was all I needed. I contacted my lawyer the next day. We filed an emergency motion to present new evidence. I gave the court a written statement, including the full transcript and the original video. We requested that custody be immediately reviewed. It took a few months, but when we got back in front of the judge, everything changed. Caleb testified. He confirmed he recorded the conversation himself, that his mother had told him to say he didn't feel safe with me, that she twisted everything he said about our time together to paint a picture that wasn't real. Sarah tried to say it was taken out of context, that she was venting, that she was scared and emotional. She cried, claimed I manipulated Caleb, that I coached him, but the judge wasn't buying it. I'll never forget what he said. You used your child as a pawn in a custody battle you were losing. You weaponized false allegations and the court's trust. That is emotional abuse, and you will be held accountable. He reversed the custody arrangement immediately. I was awarded full custody of Caleb. Sarah was given supervised visitation only, to be reviewed after 6 months, and only if she complied with a court-ordered therapist and parenting classes. That was a little over a year ago. Caleb lives with me now. He's in therapy, trying to unpack what his mom did to both of us. Some nights he still asks hard questions. Why did she do it? Or, did she ever actually love me, or was I just leverage? I try to answer the best I can. I never badmouth her directly, even when I want to. But I never lie to him either. He deserves the truth. Sarah still sends emails. She wants shared custody again. She says she's grown, that she's ready to be a mother again. I wish I could believe her. I wish I could say this story has a clean, feel-good ending, but the reality is, Caleb is old enough now to have a say. And he doesn't want to go back. He reads the emails. He sees through the "I've changed" lines. Because if she really had, she would have apologized to him. Not just the court. She'd be showing up for therapy. She wouldn't be pushing so hard to move on without ever making amends. There's another court date next month. She's filed for joint custody again. And I'll be there, this time with a much thicker folder and a son who's no longer confused about what happened. I never thought I'd end up here, fighting tooth and nail just to be a father to my own child, betrayed by someone I once shared vows with. But I'm here. And this time, I won't let her take anything else from us. Since then, Caleb has slowly been rebuilding. It's been hard, not just because of what she did, but because he's finally old enough to understand how deep the betrayal went. He misses the mom he thought he had, but he's also angry. And that anger is something we're working through in therapy, one session at a time. But here's the thing about manipulators like Sarah. They don't stop when they're caught. They just change tactics. A few months after the custody ruling, she started playing the reform card. New hair, new job, social media full of therapy quotes and healing journey posts. She started sending Caleb little gifts, books, a new phone case, candy she knows he likes. No letters, no real apologies, just stuff. Then the emails started again, long ones, all about how she never stopped loving him and how the court took her motherhood away. No mention of what she did, no remorse, just her pain, her loss. She filed for joint custody again in January, claimed she'd completed her parenting classes, bare minimum requirement, and was in a much better mental space. She attached glowing letters from a therapist she'd only seen 4 times, which, funny enough, wasn't the court-ordered therapist. It was clearly performative. She didn't even mention the previous recordings, the supervised visits, or the fact that Caleb still didn't want to see her unsupervised. Still, we had to go back to court. Caleb wanted to speak this time. I gave him the choice. I told him he didn't have to, that his therapist could submit a report instead. But he insisted. Said he wanted the judge to hear it from me, not on paper. I was nervous, but I didn't stop him. He stood up there, 14 years old, wearing the suit we picked out together. His voice shook at first, but then he straightened up and said, I don't trust my mom. Not because she made a mistake, but because she lied to everyone and never said sorry. Not to me. Not to my dad. And she only wants to see me, now that she's losing. He said he wasn't afraid of her, but he didn't feel safe with her either. Because safe isn't just about physical harm. It's about emotional safety, and he doesn't have that with her. He talked about how she made him lie to a counselor once, back before the video. How she told him to say I got mad and grabbed her, when all I did was ask her to leave during one of her rants. How he didn't even understand what abuse was. But she kept using the word like a weapon. He cried at one point. So did I. Sarah didn't. She sat there, stone-faced, until the judge asked her if she had anything to say. She gave some rehearsed monologue about forgiveness and growth, claimed she did what she thought was best, and that maybe she didn't handle things perfectly, but she was hurting too. No ownership, no apology, not even to her son. The judge asked her one simple question. Why haven't you apologized to your son directly? She hesitated, then said, I didn't want to overwhelm him. I thought he'd come around. That was it. The judge denied her petition for joint custody, permanently. She now has to earn even supervised visits back through documented therapy progress, and a court-reviewed reconciliation plan approved by Caleb's therapist, not hers. The judge made it clear that Caleb's well-being came first, and that she had prioritized her pride over her child for far too long. The fallout has been messy. Sarah exploded after the ruling. She called my phone 17 times in one night, then started texting from random numbers when I blocked her, left voicemails accusing me of turning Caleb against her, and even said she would go to the media or file a discrimination suit if this miscarriage of justice wasn't reversed. I turned everything over to my attorney. We're preparing for a potential restraining order if she escalates. Caleb's been quiet. He still has questions. Some days he asks what she was like before, whether she ever really loved him, whether she'd be like this if we'd never divorced. I tell him the truth. She probably loved him in her own way, but that love doesn't always come with the ability to parent. And that loving someone doesn't give you the right to hurt them. If there's one thing I've learned through all of this, it's this. Betrayal from someone you trusted doesn't always look like a knife in the back. Sometimes, it looks like someone smiling while holding your child's hand and lying through their teeth. Sometimes, it looks like a courtroom full of people looking at you like the monster. Until the truth crawls out, piece by piece. I lost over a year with my son because of her lies. I'll never get that back. But I got something else. I got him. The real him. Not a version twisted by guilt and manipulation. I got honesty, connection, trust. And for now, that's enough. Thanks for reading. I'll keep you posted if she tries anything else, but I think she knows she's out of moves. Or maybe she doesn't. People like her rarely do.